Hello guys and girls, how's it going? Screezilla here and I hope you're all well. And you join me today in a little bit of naval news and also a little bit of how-to video. So first of all, we'll start off with a how-to video. This is how to be dominant in naval. It's a very easy thing to do. Basically what you need to do is get yourself a boat with an autocannon on board. Now anything around 40mm to 30mm will do, but 40mm plus is generally beneficial. And what you do with that boat is you sail it like an idiot, and you just hold down the fire button. And that will get you all the kills you need in a naval battle. Watch and see. So anyway, news time. So naval news, naval bug fixes. Just quickly as well, this autocannon will just start lighting up this American PT boat. And shouldn't be too long before it goes boom. A little bit off and sloppy on the aiming there, but we'll take it out relatively quickly, I'm sure. There we go, that's better. Oh god, yeah, autocannons, man, they're the bane of my existence. Anyway, naval news. There's been a few little updates and things like that. You can no longer take a plane out that's a really high BR in certain battles. So if you've got, say, a 2.0 ship, you can't take out a plane that's 3.0, for instance. It has to be within about 0.3 of a BR from your boat or something. Anyway, the big news is more things like the change in the way guns work. Mainly it's with autocannons, although you're not really seeing it here. Basically, autocannons now overheat a bit quicker. So overheat has been added for 30mm, 57mm, 76mm naval autocannons. It doesn't include 40mm, oddly, which the British have, and those things are deadly. Overheat has been removed for all naval MGs up to 20mm, and again, I don't really see this working properly because I've taken out a few boats and it's not really been there. Chance of destruction of larger ships with one hit has been decreased. The oil tanks on larger ships no longer detonate. And one of the big differences is that each caliber now has a preset of dispersion diagram and shard penetration value. HE, AP, and shrapnel rounds have a different diagram for shrapnel dispersal. Sheets for armor penetration and kinetic damage of HE shells have been corrected. The damage effect of HE and AP shells of medium and large caliber, 57 to 180mm, have been reworked. Now with increasing caliber, the damage effect will also increase correctly, and shell of different calibers are more significantly different from each other. The striking ability of shells of a larger caliber, 150 to 180mm, is now much higher. And finally, one of the other big changes was the torpedo animation for the LS4, LS3, S38, S38B, S100, S100 long, S204 and Type 4143 and also PR183 have been changed. So now you no longer get the fancy animations. There we go. Okay, now we jump in the dark boat. And again, we have 40mm cannons on board with HE rounds inside. They also have AP rounds, so around 70mm of penetration, 60 to 70mm of penetration. The Russian gunboat there is not enjoying them at all. So we're ripping that guy apart. Although in the replay it does look like they're not hitting correctly, so that's interesting. Anyway, so some big changes there for certain bits. There's also been some changes to the S100s. The 20mm autocannon modification ammo belt reload has been unified, changed to 120 shots per barrel. A bug where only half of the magazine was being loaded has been fixed. The Emden has had turret armor thickness values being corrected. The Fairmile D and D697 and 5001 have had some changes to their 57mm guns. But yeah, mainly minor changes around everything. There are a few more in there, and of course you can go to the forums to read the changes. However, one thing that hasn't really changed is the fact that cannons are underwhelming and not really very effective. yeah, it's still a major problem. Um, Autocannons are still very much the thing that does the damage. As you can see here, we're just taking out ships left, right and centre, and there's no real skill needed for this. It is purely just holding down the fire button. There's the only skill needed is aiming the shots and getting them to hit. But there's so many targets you can just fire at will, and you will just get kill after kill after kill, and assist after assist after assist, and just rake up the research points and money, because it's just ludicrous. The just autocannons in general are just way too effective in this game and naval in general, and it just ruins the small boats, in all honesty. You can't take out 90% of the fleets. Yeah, I would say 90% of the fleets. So 90% of all the different fleets there are. I reckon you can take out about 10% of the vehicles to be effective in a match. If you're not taking out those vehicles, you're going to cost your team wins and cost yourself kills, because you just simply can't do anything. For instance, with the British ships, if you're taking out the corvettes, so the Flowers class and the Isles class, you're not going to do anything in a match. You're just going to flounder. As you can see here, we've had, what, 7 minutes of gameplay and 11 kills with 7 assists. And I finally go down. But that is a ridiculous kill streak, and it's a ridiculous amount of kills. That's taken pretty much 4 to 5 players out of the game. You know, it's just it's absurd. Cannons are still very much no use. For instance, we've got the 3-pounder, I think it is, on this Fairmile B. Yeah, 3-pounder. And it's a relatively fast-firing cannon, but it's still very ineffective, and it's not very useful against boats, because, well, simply you need firepower. You need the rate of fire to be able to do things. Also, I might just say, torpedoes are still just absolutely wonky as heck. Just, yeah, they just don't work as well. There's still so many issues with torpedoes that just haven't been not listened to. But yeah, it's very frustrating to be in naval and have this thing where autocannons just do not just are impossible to beat. For instance, on this boat, the Fairmile, whatever this is, the Fairmile B, I think. Yes, B. You know, when you've got the large caliber cannon at the front, well, it's not that large, a 3-pounder, but it's a relatively large caliber cannon. You'll hit the front of an LS, for instance, and with the LS being made of wood, instead of the whole thing blowing apart around here, it will just make it go black. And the problem is still that it's a health bar system. I know Gaijin are saying it's modular damage, but this is a health bar system. Every ship has 3 sections, 3 or 4 sections. Every boat has 3 or 4 sections. So, bow, stern, midship, and then your wheelhouse. Sometimes if you don't turn all of them black, you won't get a kill. So, for instance, what might happen is if you've got, say, a S-boat or an E-boat at the front of you, you'll be shooting it constantly in the front section here with your cannon. And you'll do repeatedly large damage. Even using a 100mm cannon, you'll hit it at the front. And in reality, that would blow the bow off and cause a lot of damage. But what happens is, because you can't hit the rest of the boat, you can't kill it. You just keep hitting this black section here, and it does no damage. It effectively does no damage. It's ludicrous. It really is ludicrous. Another big issue as well at the moment, of course, is the survivability of larger ships. Although they said they have increased it, it's not been increased by very much, and larger ships are still dying to things like a 250-pound bomb being dropped, sort of, you know, say we were a large ship being dropped around this distance away, it will still kill you. A torpedo hit to the bow, if for instance, will kill you instantly. Anywhere on your boat, you'll pretty much get killed instantly by torpedo hits. There are some smaller caliber torpedoes that can be used, but they're generally on the Italian boats, which aren't in the game yet. So again, that's problematic because you don't see that damage. But a large torpedo will do a lot of damage, but there are multiple destroyers out there that survived 3 or 4 torpedo hits without too much issue. They were pretty much taken out the battle at that stage, but it is possible for a destroyer to survive to take a torpedo hit. Cruisers, the light cruisers for instance, can't take a torpedo hit, and again that's ridiculous. There was many accounts of light cruisers taking multiple hits and carrying on, whereas in the game the torpedo will drain all the health from your ship. And I'm going to say it is a health point system they're using hit points on this. They're not using an actual damage model kit. They're not using damage sections. It's not like tanks where, you hit a section of the tank multiple times. You're just not going to do too much damage. But if you were, say, using a massive 180mm shell or something on that tank, you're going to completely decimate it, and you do. Whereas ships, you'd use that 180mm shell, hit the ship at the front, and then be unable to kill it because you can only hit the front section, because you can't take the hit points away from the back section, and it's just stupid decisions like that. Of course, you can get ammo racks and stuff like that, but it's still very much a health point system. So, that's the end of that game. So, an 8-minute game, 11 kills, 11 kills, crikey. Anyway, we'll head to the post-battle results now. So, let's have a look at some of the results there. So, first of all, we'll just go to the awards. So, First Strike, Bomber Rescue, Triple Strike, Professional, Terror of the Ocean, Multi-Strike, Double Strike, Avenger, Assist, Base Capture Streak, and Ship Rescuer. And, of course, no surprise, we were top of the leaderboard. Damage to naval targets, 11,710 damage. Okay, so yeah, we did a lot of damage there to the naval targets. And as you can see, the result: 9 enemy assists, 11 kills, 1 aircraft destroyed, 123 hits. Yep. So 60,000 lions, not too bad. And, yeah, pretty much nearly all of our Clemson research done. Yep. So, first of all, the Fairmile C. Yeah, it's pretty monstrous. But this is the thing, autocannons are. It's all about autocannons, this mode. There is no real skill requirement for being good in naval. That was no skill there. That was purely me just floating around holding the fire button. And that's the problem you have with this mode. It is just so... it's so frustrating because the skill is just basically in who can hold their fire button the longest and who can shoot as many shots. Who can shoot the most shots. Just... it's ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. And also, just questionable there for the research points. I think we had about 5 kills, maybe 2 assists with this thing. And we've only just unlocked the tool set. So, yeah, that's a bit irritating and a bit iffy. Yeah, the research points are a bit... you have to wonder sometimes, don't you? Anyway, got a little bit more reward for the Clemson. Anyway, the Fairmile C. Fairmile C? Yes, the Fairmile C. That's what I wanted to look at. Basically, you've just got 2 40mm guns on that board. Two pounders. Which are fast firing. The front one is just ridiculously fast firing. The second one is a Rolls-Royce turret, a 40mm Rolls-Royce turret, semi-automatic, and this thing can't really find much detail about it, but apparently it only has like about a 4 or 5 round clip in it, and so this one's not very good. It does still help out, of course, but the main thing is your front gun, and same with the Dark class. You know, this is the only thing that matters, this 40mm turret at the front. If you've got one of these, you're set, because you're going to take out multiple targets. However, if you have a cannon on board, like this, even though this 3-pounder is relatively quick firing, the 3-pounder Hotchkiss there is just not that great because it's slow firing, even though it should do more damage. The 102mm guns on the corvettes are pretty much useless because you need at least 3 or 4 hits to take out any naval target, and the rate of fire isn't there, so you simply don't have enough firepower to take them out, although you do have that lovely 40mm at the back on this thing. Isle class, again the same issue, although you do have a 20mm at the back, but the main gun is just not effective. Cannons don't matter, and the trouble is, unlike destroyers, these things just get ripped apart by MG fire and cannon fire, so they're pretty much useless. The British naval forces are not bad if you've got these big guns, these fast firing autocannons, but that's it. That's the only time you're going to have the ability to take out multiple targets in this sort of line of ships. Okay guys, well, I hope you've enjoyed this little video and this little jaunt. If you have, just give me a subscription and a little like below as well. If you are subscribed, a like would be lovely, and also have a comment as well, because if you have any questions that you want to ask me, feel free, and I will look to answer them after one of my videos, so keep tuned in future. Alright guys, until next time, this is me, Screezilla, out. Bye bye.
On your mark, get set, now ready, go, everybody.
Mazak 00. Wow, just got 1 million silver lions. Congrats Mazak, congrats. Kurt123, first view / like. Well done, you win a prize, a new baby panda. Enjoy.
Just run up the back of Smith then?
Yeah, actually Leah just ran up the back of Smith, just ran straight into the back, and and Smith
just gone down. God,
it's going around. Jason Martin's gone around. Jason Martin has gone around into the back,
and it's
big huge crash.
Massive accident.
Massive.